Hello, my name is Ivy Hines, and welcome to my Teach One presentation. This presentation was prepared as part of the HAP 725 taught by Farrokh Alemi, PhD, at George Mason University Department of Health Administration and Policy. My topic is on Tukey and time between control charts, questions 1 and 6. Question 1 states, we have received a set of comments over time on the web. Check if we have improved. Please note that there are no pre- and post-intervention periods, and therefore control limits must be calculated from the entire period. Here is our data. These are the set of comments over time on the web from day 1 to day 20. Positive comments are labeled yes, with negative comments as no. I added a new column called Comment Binary, and all I want to do is binarize the data. So I'm going to add this formula. And what this is saying is if B2 is yes, enter 0. If it's not, enter 1. So I'm going to copy this down the cell, or down the cells. And so now no is 1 and yeses are zeros. I've added yet another column, and I'm calling it consecutive negative comments, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to count the consecutive negative comments. So what I'm going to do is add this formula. And what this is saying is if B2 is yes, enter 0. If B2 is no, look at the previous cell, and if that is also no, add 1. Otherwise, just enter 1. So if I copy that formula down the cell, which you can see the no's are 1, but here where we have consecutive no's, it now counts them 1, 2, and 3. Next, we want to count the amount of yeses and the amount of no's. So we're going to enter this formula, count if. If it's a yes, count it. If it's a no, don't count it. And we want to specify the criteria is yes. And so there are 15 yeses out of 20. So I'm just going to copy and paste. And this time we want to change this to no. And we do only want it to be from B2 to B21. Okay, and there are 5 no's. Next, we want to calculate our R statistics. Since we are getting the consecutive negative comments, we are going to divide the number of no's by the number of yeses. So that will be equals to no divided by the yeses and get 0.333. And I want to take that only out 3 decimal places. We can either use the round function, or I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to format the cells, choose number, and take it out 3 decimal places. We now calculate the upper control limit, and here is the formula. Following that formula, we're going to do R plus 3 times R times 1 plus R. Then we'll get the square root of that. Okay, and now I want to copy this down the column, but I want to fix these cells first. And you can do that by highlighting it and choosing F4. Okay, and now I will copy it down. And now we have the upper control limit. I now want to add my chart. Okay, now we're going to select the data. We're going to first add the observations. And now the upper control limit. I just paused the video to format the chart. This is the final chart. I have added markers and changed the upper control limit to red. I added the chart title as well as the axes labels and relabeled the legend. And to finish this question, this is the final chart. Day 1 to day 16, as well as day 18 to 20, were within limits. However, on day 17, complaints exceeded the upper control limit. Day 15 to 17 reflects the consecutive negative complaints and should be an area of focus as to why. Question 6. In health administration programs, data on waiting time are examined in courses on quality and operations research. Using the attached data, determine if the waiting time in our urgent care center has changed. Here is our data, time period from 1 through 8, and its respective observations. Here is our data now displayed vertically. The next step is to put the data in ascending order. Next, we need to select the median of the data. Because we have an even number of data, 8, we take the average of the two middle ranked numbers to determine the median. In the case that we have an odd number of data, or in this case 9, the fifth row would be an actual data point, which in this case is 90. Let's get back to our actual data. The first 4 records is considered the lower half of the data, and the bottom 4 is considered the upper half. We need to get the median of the lower half, also known as lower fourth, as well as the upper half, or upper fourth. Now we need to get the fourth spread. The fourth spread is the upper fourth minus the lower fourth, or in this case, it's 93 minus 84, and gives us a fourth spread of 9. Next, we calculate the upper control limit. The upper control limit is the upper fourth plus 1.5 times the fourth spread. This gives us 106.5. The lower control limit is the lower fourth minus 1.5 times the fourth spread, giving us 70.5. So I've put our data in a spreadsheet. Here is our initial data, and now here is our data sorted. And next we get the median of the lower fourth, which in this case is 83 and 85, which gives us 84. For the upper fourth, we get the average or the median of 92 and 94 to give us 93. To get the fourth spread, we take the upper fourth minus the lower fourth and get 9. To get the upper limit, we take the upper fourth plus 1.5 times the fourth spread. To get the lower limit, control limit, we take the lower fourth minus 1.5 times the fourth spread. And now we can include our chart. So we'll select our data. So we'll first add the observations. Next, we'll add the upper control limit. and the lower control limit. Now I want to spread this out a little bit. We'll change the format of our y-axis. Okay, and we're going to put the minimum just below the lower control limit at 60. And there we have our chart. So here is the final chart. I've modified it a little bit. I just added a title, calling it Waiting Time in Urgent Care. The y-axis label is waiting times. The x-axis label is time period. I've changed the upper and lower control limit colors to red. I added markers for the observed times, and I added this legend at the bottom. To answer the question, waiting time in our urgent care center has stayed within control limits except for the fourth period, where waiting times exceeded the lower control limit. By the fifth period, wait times went up significantly, although still stayed within limits. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.